Hi Gemini, this is your horoscope for November 2013 for everyone who have their ascendant sun or moon in Gemini. If you don't know, and this is tropical astrology, I'm using Western. If you want to know what's really happening, check your tropical signs. And if you don't know them, you can check them at my website astrolada.com, for which I'm giving a link for my birth chart calculator. Just enter your time and place of birth, and below the chart there is something like a table which tells you ascendant, sun and moon. Just check the positions of those three and listen to the predictions of those, because the ascendant sign and the moon sign are often more important than the sun sign prediction. So if you want to have more in-depth understanding what's happening, how real astrology is done, check at least the ascendant sign, if you know your time of birth, of course. If you don't, you cannot, because the ascendant sign is the most personal sign and it can change every an hour and a half. Anyway, Gemini, let's start with the more scary news. There is like an eclipse happening in the sign of Scorpio. And this eclipse basically triggers for Gemini the 6th house. And you can especially feel it strongly, in a sense, because 6th house is a difficult house and an eclipse is already difficult energy. 6th house is the house, first of all, of health. And if you've been in some way disregarding your health till now, if you've been in some way really not living properly, if you've been stressing too much, you've been worried too much, or if you've been eating crap food, or any of those things, and your body is on the verge, and body's been doing fine till now, but now there is an eclipse in your 6th house. When an eclipse happens, all the dirt, all the things like come to fruition, things come to a cracking point basically. And if you've been trying to live with the lie that everything will be okay, now this illusion can be broken for you, especially if your moon or your ascendant is in Gemini, because they're the more connected to health. The sun as well, but the ascendant and moon, definitely some of you will feel it. So there can be some health crisis for some of you. And this theme of the health can be quite predominant, might have been predominant for Gemini for a while, for in October and September as well, but now it really gets triggered powerfully by this eclipse and Saturn there. So if something can go wrong in your health, if something is not going well, you'll be given signs, you'll be given warnings. Maybe you develop stomach issue, maybe you develop something, maybe you won't be able to sleep, something to do with your health. But it's good, because this warning tells you what to do. It tells you that it's time to do something about it. When you're forewarned, it's not gonna delve in and get more serious. So you can start a better regime. The best thing for 6th house when it's triggered is go a bit fasting, go do a detox, cleanse yourself, because it's the most sensitive part of the 6th house. It's usually the stomach, where 75% of all diseases originate from the food that we eat, even though people are trying to tell us differently, that food doesn't matter. It is the food, because the 6th house rules the intestines, and the 6th house is the house of disease. Ancient astrologers and ancient seers, they knew it. That's why all diseases come mostly from the intestines, basically from what we eat. So it's a good time now. If you've been waiting for years to start this workout regime, now you can really do it. There was also openings in September and October, but nothing as much as now in November. If you've been resisting the urges coming in the last 2-3 months for this improvement of health, of this really taking more seriously your health and your daily regimes and routines, now this will really escalate. Now actually you cannot postpone it, because things can start breaking down health-wise. I don't want to be gloomy, but eclipses tend to bring crisis situations, something fated, so great time. But actually an eclipse can also help you bridge this barrier that you've been blocked till now. For instance, if someone who resists a lot exercise, or who resists eating healthily, or going vegetarian, who resists doing some healthier regimes like waking up earlier, or at least breathing more fresh air, living in somehow more healthy way, if you've been resisting this a lot, this eclipse can really overturn you to 180 degrees, can really trigger the change that is needed in you. Let's see, 6th house also represents all the things that can go wrong from a tangible, practical perspective. Something can break, technology, or something can just be giving us difficulty. For instance, just like is the house of disease, which is our enemy, basically. This is also the house of our other enemies, people who annoy us, people who are trying to block us, to undermine us somehow, people who are trying to, you know, it's not always people, it can be anything which is going on our nerves, which is annoying us, which is really slowing our progress somehow, which is delaying us. And these things can escalate again with the eclipse. For instance, something can break at home, or and something in your working, the routines that you have at work might become, you might feel that they're actually outdated and they're no longer relevant and they're no longer supporting the way your work is going. So you have to restructure those routines. You have to become more organized, more efficient. You have to put everything into more proper order and to make it run smoother, fixing things, improving on things, and especially practical, material, practical nature is the theme for November. And in October you can feel it as well, but in November it's also, you can continue developing those things, and you can continue on improving your daily routines, on your working routines, how you do things, on your hygiene, on your order around you, so you can have big breakthrough in that area, and also fixing and sorting things that needed sorting for a long time. And also sixth house is the house of debt, so there might be some crisis situation that come to a head in regards to debt, and maybe because this eclipse in particular brings new beginnings as well and new opportunities. It always can be in combination with a crisis situation because it's an eclipse, but it will open the path of a new opportunity, basically. So something you can maybe some debt escalates, something gets difficult there, but because of that you can consolidate your debts and improve on them and manage your practical and financial affairs somehow a bit better as well. And Jupiter is triggering from the second house as well for you this month, and Jupiter is a positive planet, so it's helping you have a more have an opportunity which continues as a tendency from October, opportunity to expand your resources, maybe to have more possessions somehow, to acquire new possessions, to acquire new belongings, or to deal better with the ones you already have. Also, second house is the house of financial well-being, so something can happen right now that can secure your financial well-being. Maybe it started in October and it will continue in November, especially if your ascendant is in Gemini. To a lesser degree the sun or moon, but financial and practical issues are the ones that you'll be solving, that will be very important to you, and that you will have success with actually. And for financial issues, the news is good, as I said, because of Jupiter. And also second house is the people that support us, our dearest and nearest, like our nearest family and our closest friends, one or two close friends that we have. These continue to be a source, or will start to be a source now, if you didn't feel it in October, a source of support, of some kind of happiness for you, making you feel secure, making you feel grounded, or just something will come that it will happen in your life which brings you more material and security, which makes you feel more stable for the future, which makes you feel more safe. You know, this is the second house. Let's see what else is happening in Gemini. And so you see a lot of focus again on practical, solving practical issues, reordering things, working hard, sixth house, perfecting yourself. It's not so much in a spiritual work or anything, it's fixing out the things, working on material things, and you'll have success with that as well if you're more focused. And Mercury is also, this month will be conjunct almost all of the month with the North Node, and you'll feel it also in October with the demonic planet Rahu, which increases desires a lot. So some of you might find yourself a bit more like raving maniacs, because whenever Mercury is your planet, Mercury rules Gemini, so we follow where it's moving in the sky and what planets it is within the sky, and we can see something about the state of a lot of people who are under the influence of Gemini. Usually, especially if you have your ascendant in Gemini, then Mercury becomes the ruler of your whole horoscope and your whole well-being and physical body and your path in life. So Gemini being with the North Node is this desire, full of a bit of possessive energy. So some of you might be feeling very hectic to get more, because the North Node is the planet Rahu, as they call it in ancient Vedic astrology, is a demon that is very desirous of material achievements, of ambition. So you can get this drive, and you know, this can be great. Some of you might feel extremely energized, and some of you might feel like ready to tackle on the world and take it over and deal with all the issues and all the problems. And some of you might get very amorous and sexual as well, because Rahu is a bit of a deviant, sexual deviant planet, and even willing to breach taboos and break taboos and do something illegal, even do something which is not right. You know, so Rahu, this is the negative side of it that can go. The positive side is that it pushes you for achievements, outwards achievements. It pushes you, it gives you this lust for life and excitability, and this a bit wild aura around you makes you, a lot of Gemini, especially Gemini ascendants, at a certain period will feel a bit more magnetic, charismatic, a bit more dangerous as well. And let's see, and also Mercury is conjunct all the time with Saturn, so there will be this little, most of the month. So in October, November, you will be feeling it. There will be, Saturn is the opposite of the North Node, Rahu. If Rahu is wild and unrestrained and wants to get stuff, Saturn is restrained. So there can be this inner fight in a lot of Geminis that's happening between I should be disciplined, which is Saturn, I should work hard, and Rahu, which is like I should be wild, I should go for it, I should take risks. Saturn is cautious. So, or I want to do that, I want to sleep with her, or I want to do that, but it's not right. And Rahu makes you want to go and do against the social, what is socially right, which is Saturn. So there can be this push and pull between you. Should I do this? This is the right thing to do. Saturn wants you to do the right thing, always wants you to do what is the morally right thing, because otherwise you can be punished by society, or you know, by unconsciousness. And Rahu wants to do its own thing. So there can be this push and pull. You can feel 2-3 days like, yes, I'm gonna cheat, I'm gonna do it, and then you feel, no, I'm not gonna do it, or yes, I'm gonna go for this crazy thing, you know. So there can be this a little bit of a roller coaster thing that is happening within your, but that's interesting, you know. And I think that's for you, Gemini. Venus is in your 8th house. It passes there every year. It's a little bit can indicate maybe some hidden private affairs and love, and also you can receive some help from other people's resources, or for emotional help. Intimacy can deepen with a partner. 8th house rules intimacy, and on the material side it rules other people's money. What you can receive for other people. When it's your partner, usually you're not, you can either receive some gifts or some emotional support from another person, or from others you can receive access to their resources. Maybe someone can borrow you their, I don't know, their grass lawnmower, you know, or on a deeper level, or maybe a bank can borrow your money, or maybe a partner can make you a nice present, or maybe someone can give you some gift, you know, some resources. Someone can let you use their, I don't know, something they possess which helps you somehow, you know, or they can give you some valuable advice. So it's a good month to reach out for help, because you will receive it from another. You'll receive the emotional support or financial support from another if you need it. Thank you very much, Gemini.